Weirdest things caught in the ocean. 1. Cyclops, albino shark. A pregnant bull shark was captured by a fisherman in the Sea of Cortez. When the shark was brought onto the boat, it had already lost its life. It had been caught on a big hook that had been baited with ballyhoo and attached to a line beneath a buoy that was secured in place by another line that was anchored by a sandbag. The fisherman filleted the shark once it had reached the coast, extracting 9 healthy pups and 1 unhealthy one. The anomalous puppy was an albino, which means it lacked the typical pigment coloring and had a single, centrally located eye, akin to a cyclops. Felipe Gavin, a Mexican scientist, examined the shark as well and confirmed that it was authentic, although its primary effect is on the brain. 2. Chimera lobster. Near July 2006, Alan Robinson set out to sea near Bar Harbor, Maine, with the hopes of landing a big catch. He joked that the object he had pulled into his boat that day was a half-boiled lobster. The regular brown color of the crustacean was on one side, and the bright orange color of a freshly cooked lobster was on the other. A chimera is created when 2 zygotes, sometimes from different species and with different cells, unite to produce a single organism. Each half of their bodies develops independently of the other as they grow symmetrically. Robinson's chimera lobster appeared partially cooked because one side lacked the blue and yellow coloration. 3. Basket star. When he picked out what he initially believed to be a clump of seaweed while fishing in an area covered in seaweed off the island of Puleo Ubin, it began to move in an unsettling, undulating manner. He'd made a fantastic catch. Echinoderms are a class of marine invertebrates that have 5 or more limbs organized around a central disc. Basket stars are one type of echinoderm. The structure of fleshy, densely branching limbs that make up basket stars is similar to a basket. There are 177 different kinds of basket stars, and some of them have extraordinarily long arms that are wider than 1 meter. 4. Giant shrimp. Fisherman Steve Bergeron of Florida pulled a massive crustacean out of the water in September of 2015. The Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission recognized the image as belonging to a scaly-tailed mantis shrimp after receiving pictures from Bergeron. Once, when a smasher kind of mantis shrimp broke into an aquarium with a cargo of rocks, it killed off several of the other aquatic animals before being kicked out. Scientists have determined that it prefers warm, temperate, and tropical climates, all of which include Florida. They are powerful, swift, and carnivorous, but nothing is known about their reproductive patterns or embryology, nor if they have any natural predators. 5. Giant squid. When 25-year-old Michael Belden and his buddies were returning from a fishing trip in Texas in 2014, they noticed what seemed to be a trash bag floating in the sea. To their astonishment, however, they found out it was a 200-pound, 10-foot-long squid. The men found it 100 miles off the coast of Matagorda. Given that it looked to have been half consumed by a mako shark, it's also plausible that this species was larger in its natural habitat. Given that gigantic squid may grow up to 43 feet long, this seems reasonable. They feature 2 feeding tentacles, 8 arms, and grapefruit-sized eyes. 6. Human skull. While fishing in the North Sea in 2007, British angler Barry Hunter noticed something unusual falling out of his net along with other fish. A fragment of a human cranium. Taking the bones to the police, he, as a law-abiding person and moral human being, made sure they identified the piece of skull as belonging to one Brian Allison. Usually, this would be welcome news because it would provide a family with some much-needed closure. But in reality, it was bad news for Barry. He was friends with Brian Allison. When their ship sank off the northeast coast close to Tynemouth in 2004, Brian Allison and his brother Robert,